I think it's the responsibility of real estate agents to educate the consumers. I'm not sure if you've heard recently, but there are some major class action lawsuits by some consumers suing the National Association of Realtors and some of the largest brokerage firms in the country. As a matter of fact, Keller Williams just recently agreed to a settlement of $70 million. And the crux of the issue here is the consumers did not feel that they were provided the correct information as to who is paying the fees. Here in the DC metropolitan area, so in DC, Montgomery County, and Northern Virginia, the listing agreements stipulate that the listing agent is being paid a total brokerage fee with the understanding that a certain percentage of that is going to be paid to the buyer's agent. The reason why this is good for everybody involved is the seller wants the property sold. They want the property marketed with a good brokerage fee to entice buyer's agents to show the property, and that way the buyers are not having to come out of pocket to pay for that broker to represent them on the buy side. Now, should this change or will this change in the future? We don't know, but the point is that folks weren't knowing as to how these things were being addressed or paid and compensated. It goes back to a time period back in the 1970s and earlier when there was actually no buyer agency at that time, and there was a drive to make sure that consumers were being protected and that buyers had their own agents. In the future, does this mean that buyers are going to have to pay their buyer's agent fees? Most likely not, because that would actually probably slow down transactions, but it is important that folks are educating consumers that the way in which brokerage fees are paid is it comes from the seller's side of the ledger, but ultimately the buyer is paying because they're paying the total sales price, which is going to cover the brokerage fees. Just the seller's net takeaway is going to be lower because it's coming out of their side of the ledger.